Hey there, gang. How are you? Let's double tap this here. Hey, there I am. How's it going? Welcoming y'all back here to Periscope. We're doing a little thing here today on social media confessions, and it's not like it's going to be any kind of criminal activity or illicit activity or anything like that. When we saw a blog post here by Hootsuite earlier this week and kind of saved it, finally got a chance to read it and kind of really dug it when it comes to making social media confessions regarding things that maybe you should be doing, maybe you shouldn't be doing when it comes to social media. So I thought it'd be an interesting topic for the Periscope here. And also just got done recapping for the Missouri Realtors Association the Periscope conversation we had with them last week at their annual conference last week on live streaming. So got Periscope on the brain, thought it would feel good. Hey there, Sage and Savvy, thanks for joining in. So anyway, just recap that on the Missouri Realtor page. And if any of those folks are watching the show right now, feel free to go over to the landing and check that out. So let's talk about these social media confessions here. Hootsuite had a list of 10 of them, and I wrote up a couple of my own. Just thought I would kind of talk about some of these and see where the crowd was. If you have any confessions as you're coming through here and joining the room and watching this, we had a couple folks in there. Intriguing title. Thank you, Sage. If you get any social media confessions of your own, feel free to post them here and we'll discuss them. So, and, oh, by the way, please feel free to share this Periscope with your followers. Just kind of scroll up the screen there if you're on your mobile device and you can hit the little button that says share, or you can tweet this out. We sure would appreciate that. Of course, please do follow us here on the Periscope if you're not already. Okay, so the first one, the first confession from Hootsuite was, I like my own Instagram posts. And what they're saying here is that on Instagram, the secret to success on Instagram post is getting that double digit. So it doesn't have the list of all the names of the people that liked your post. It's got an actual number there. That's always a goal. So they're saying that you get to 9 or 10 likes and you go and like it yourself so you can get that number 11, that 11 likes, chasing the 11 on Instagram. I don't really do this myself, but I know a lot of folks that do. I do see a lot of folks that do this. It's pretty transparent if you're doing it. People do go and check and see who's liking your post on Instagram, so that's kind of a good way to get caught, if you will. To do that. I wouldn't recommend doing it frequently, maybe once in a while. I know some folks who have, we manage a couple different handles on Instagram for ourselves and for clients. We've gone sometimes and had clients like our posts, and we of course go and like our clients' posts as well. Hey Joe Connor, how you doing? Thanks for joining. So chasing that 11th like on Instagram, I would say let the crowd be the 11th person. Maybe you can be the 12th or 13th. So that's one of Hootsuite's social media confessions there. I'll go to one of my confessions here, and of course if you have any confessions of your own you'd like to share with the crowd, we can discuss those as well as we go through these social media confessions. My own social media confession would be that I probably schedule too much content using Hootsuite actually for Twitter and for Facebook. Hey there, Alex. How you doing? Thanks for joining. I saw a couple others joining in as well. Please feel free to jump in with your own social media confessions. So anyway, my social media confession is that I schedule too much. We do a lot of scheduling when it comes to putting out content on Facebook and Twitter because we're trying to hit optimum times. We're trying to take care of a lot of inventory of content. I do make a concentrated effort if I've got 15, 20 tweets scheduled. World Scopes, thanks for joining in. I appreciate it. And folks, if you do want to give us a follow, we sure appreciate that as well. Paticus, how are you? And again, if anybody has any social media confessions, please do jump in. So anyway, I've got 15, 20 tweets scheduled every day. We do make a concerted effort to go out and interact with folks in our news feed, both on Facebook and on Twitter as well, responding to people's questions, telling people they had a cool post, hitting their links, retweeting their links. Sometimes we schedule those retweets as well. It's all about building up that inventory. I feel a little bad sometimes. It's been a busy week this week. Hey, Ricky Haggard, how are you? I feel a little bad this week. We were at a conference Monday and Tuesday, so I did have a lot of scheduled inventory across our own social media channels going out, and wasn't able to interact as live as I wanted to with what was going on in the Twitter. And apparently I missed a few things. I guess there were some changes with Snapchat, and they're going to have some more messaging tools and such, so I missed that kind of interactivity there. Is that something that you guys do? Do you feel that you schedule too much social media content when you're managing your social media for yourselves? As I said, this Periscope today is inspired by a Hootsuite blog post regarding social media confessions, and full disclosure, we are a Hootsuite ambassador as well. So it's hey Jeff, how are you? Thanks for joining, and appreciate the hearts there, guys. Keep those coming. So if you're using the Hootsuite, you're using the scheduling tools there, you're using the schedule tool on Facebook, there's nothing wrong with that. Just don't rely on it 100% of the time. Do go out and do some live interaction. Do go out and do the live posting of things. Do some live tweeting of events that are going on, like this Periscope right here. So there's another confession on this Hootsuite post here that says, I use too many hashtags. And that's something we see a lot of across the different social media channels that do use the hashtag. By the way, in case you haven't seen it, this is my hashtag. It's my grandpa's hashtag. It's the same one that's in my avatar, both here on Periscope and Twitter. So thanks for the hearts for that. I'd like to tell the story that it was my grandpa's hashtag, but it was a pound sign when he had it. So there you go. So using too many hashtags. Of course, on Twitter, you're limited by the characters that you've got. You've only got 140 characters for now that you can use. So it's hard to use a lot of hashtags. If you're hashtagging every word in your tweet, you're doing it wrong. I see a lot on Instagram, people putting in 15, 20 hashtags, and that's cool. I guess that's cool. Never too many hashtags. It's how you reach your audience. I don't know, Jeff. I'm going to say that our policy is to stick to around 6, no more than 6 is our goal on hashtags there, because we don't want it to look spammy. Of course, the rule of thumb is to always put your hashtags in the first comment on Instagram instead of in the caption itself, because that's when you start looking spammy. If you really want to look spammy. Thank you, Sage. I appreciate that. So keep those hashtags in the comments, not in the actual caption of your Instagram posts. So, and studies have shown that 6 or 10, somewhere less than 10 hashtags are really the most effective. The first comment, never thought of that. Glad I could help you out there, Jeff. Cool cat, by the way. So anyway, so use those hashtags sparingly, wisely. Use the ones that are going to get you the best reactions. There's a hashtag in this post right here about social media. Brought some followers in, some viewers into this Periscope. We use social media a lot. It's probably the most generic hashtag that we use. Hashtag digital marketing is something that we've learned recently that gives better results and better audience interaction than actually social media. Hashtag SMM, social media marketing, is another popular hashtag that we use if we're trying to reach the broad audiences across social media. But then we also hashtag ourselves on Instagram, hashtag Rocket Group on the Rocket Group channel, hashtag Wagner Gus on my personal channel. And then for clients, we've developed a couple different hashtags ourselves. So, always use that sparingly. Always use those hashtags as sparingly and as wisely as possible. Look to see, and here's another rule of thumb, Jeff, if you're still listening, on the hashtags on Instagram, you put a bunch of them in there. hit those hashtags. Go see who else is using it. Go interact with the people that are using the same hashtags as you, and maybe they'll jump over and give you some Instagram love, those little hearts on Instagram as well, because you're using similar hashtags. You're trying to reach similar audiences. You probably have similar content if you're using those similar hashtags. So that's just that was one of Hootsuite's social media confessions, or at least the blogger on Hootsuite who wrote this post. Here's another one of mine. Spam bots. Spam bots make me cranky. Spam bots drive me crazy. On Instagram, it's pretty horrible. You can probably pick up a good advice. Thank you. The spam bots there on the Instagram, they're just getting out of control. I don't know how many I blocked and reported today, probably a good half a dozen that I had the time to do it today on Instagram. Do the same thing on Twitter. This first thing we do every morning is harvest out the overnight spam bots that have come in from wherever they come in from. Block all those people out. The reason you want to do that is because you're creating a first impression every day on your social media channels, and somebody new is following you every day, and hopefully those people are legitimate, and they're going to look to see who it is that is following you, who it is that you're connected with. And if they go there and it's a bunch of people trying to sell Twitter followers or Instagram likes, it's going to give a bad first impression to your new audience. And that new audience might be just a regular follower. It might be somebody that could have $1 million contract for you. So you always want to try to keep your house in order, your follower house in order on the social media, to keep those spam bots out of there. So block and report those spam bots no matter what platform they're on, because it's hurting your legitimacy. And if you get too many of them in your audience, you're just going to end up talking to an empty room. You want to build an audience that's going to do business with you, that can do business with you, whether it's local, regional, international, depending on what type of business you're in. But if it's all full of spam bots, you're not going to be doing business with anybody, and you're just wasting your own time and driving yourself crazy about why you're not getting any business or even hits on your links in your Instagram or Twitter or Facebook posts. So block and report those spam bots. Another one here from Hootsuite is I share things without reading them. Confession number 9 on their list of 10 things here was I share things without reading them. I see people do this. I'm probably guilty of it just as much as anybody else. I see a good headline in a tweet, and I'll retweet it. I've gotten better at it over time, because when you're tweeting something, no matter how you write your bio, it doesn't apply an endorsement of that content. So if you're retweeting something from CNN or whoever, the car dealership down the street from you, what have it, you are endorsing that brand that you are retweeting with your retweet, no matter what you say in your bio. So the important thing there is, if you're going to retweet something, you better click the link in it to see what it is, because it could be something shady. It could be something that you don't want to be involved with. It could be something that you don't endorse. If it's some business practice or a blogging practice or a social media practice, what have you, that you don't endorse. If you're retweeting that without clicking to see what it is, I skim at least. Confession, there you go. At least you skimmed. At least you gave the click there, Sage and Savvy. So go out there and click those links before you retweet them or before you share them on Facebook. Make sure what that content is that you are endorsing with that action. But as those of you who are familiar with us, share then like. We do wholly support you retweeting and sharing and doing whatever you can to get other people's content out there to other audiences. It's one of the tenet rules of social media to reach the audience of audiences of audiences. So just like if you hit the share button on this Periscope video would be, or this link would be blasted out to all of your followers. So you got to reach those audiences. ShareThenLike.com if you want to read more about what that line of thinking of ours is. And along those lines, my third social media confession of my own would be that I need to balance my actions, my interactions, my who I follow, who I interact with. Thank you very much, Sage and Savvy, for tweeting that out. I need to balance my local audiences and global audiences. I find myself going through spurts where I only go out and follow local people, look for local new voices versus going out and finding global new voices or national new voices on social media or other or business interests or other things that I'm interested in. And I need to achieve more balance in those audiences and the people that I'm engaging with or seeking to engage with. I always, we do business nationally all across the United States, but for the most part, our projects that we work with are based in our home state here of Missouri. So that's why I'm focused mainly on these local audiences, but we still need to act globally, to use the old cliche. We still need to go out and get more audiences and get more followers and get more participation and both ways, two-way street being social media. We need to do the same to interact with other people's content, both locally and globally on a regular schedule, not so much a spurted schedule. So I guess that's my social media confession. So I guess we've been on here about 20 minutes or so. I do want to ask y'all to do follow us here on the Periscope. We try to get on here a couple times a week and do some live broadcasts regarding social media, regarding marketing, regarding what's going on in the business world. Do give us a follow on Twitter, same address, @Rocket Group. That is our most active channel. Hey, Dormania. Thanks, Gus. Thank you, Lucille. I do appreciate you and your interactions and your sharing of this video. Give us if you're watching this on the YouTube recap or the rebroadcast, hit the little Rocket Group logo in the bottom corner there and give us a subscribe on YouTube as well. Go to rocketgroupllc.com and you can find all of our content, all of our social channels, all the information you'd ever want to know about us. And we do appreciate your time here. The sun's setting off to my side over here, so I'm about to lose my golden hour natural light. Just want to thank you guys for participating, and we'll talk to you very, very soon on the social media and here on the Periscope. Thanks a lot.